Hey, I'm going to be doing some maintenance on this Baker 612 chipper shredder that I got free. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. I was gifted this Baker 612 3.5 horsepower Tecumseh engine powered chipper shredder. The next door neighbor gifted it to me. They bought the house. It was left behind from the previous owners. They didn't use it, so they just give it to me. So he delivered it, and I lifted it up here with the tractor, you see in the background, to get a comfortable working surface for me and also get better camera angles for you. So when I went to start the motor, it wouldn't start, had a hard time starting. I didn't know how long the motor was was just sitting idle. So what I did is I went ahead and went online and I purchased a brand new carburetor. This is the old carburetor I took off, and I found that this is sluggish, it's tight. Instead of going through the hassle of cleaning it up, not sure what all is going on in here, I decided to purchase a new one and here's the Tecumseh engine specs. It's a 3.5 horsepower Tecumseh engine, and you can find the serial number or the model number on the top. And I'll leave it for you guys right here and also down in the description. So I went on, I wanted to change out the spark plug anyway and the filter. So I went online and I found on, I believe it was Amazon, I found a replacement carburetor that replaces this. It is a carburetor kit, $15. So of course we got the carburetor and the carburetor gasket. We got a new fuel filter came with the kit. We got new fuel lines that came with the kit and new hose clamps. I kept these old hose clamps. And then I used these hose clamps over here, but it came with a new fuel filter and supplied me with an on-off fuel switch, which the previous setup did not have. And then it also came in with a brand new spark plug. It only took 3 cranks once I put fresh gasoline in here and changed out the oil. You just drain the oil from this plug right here and fill it right here. Put fresh new 30-weight motor oil in there, and I used regular non-ethanol gas in this small engine. So I gave a couple of slow pulls just to get the new oil lubricating all the pieces in there. Then went ahead and turned the fuel on, set the choke, and then turned my throttle on. And on the third pull, it started right up. Now it was running kind of rough. By finger, I just adjusted the fuel flow. And then took a Phillips screwdriver and adjusted the idle. Now it runs really well, so I can depend on the engine. Now, they had told me it needed a new belt, so we're going to have to take the engine loose, get the belt out of there. I'll show you a really easy way to take a belt off on this system. I also want to inspect inside and check out if the blades need sharpening or not. So let's get the engine removed. Remove the safety plate with a 1/2-inch wrench. And now you've got the bottom of the belt exposed. Now the engine is held on by 4 bolts. You got 1 bolt here to loosen. You got another bolt here to loosen. You got another bolt to remove. And the final bolt is just loosen this top bolt. Do not remove it, but remove the other 3 bolts. These are 1/2-inch bolts. Just remove those. This one. Remove this one. And just loosen this one. Do not remove it, because this top one's going to act as a hinge. Make sure your pulley tensioner is disengaged. Now a really good tool for removing an old worn out belt is a very specialized tool. It's nothing more than a pair of scissors, a good pair of scissors. And this just pivots open, and then you can reach in there and then cut that belt. And once you got the belt off, you can just pull it right on out of it. The cutting of the belt serves two purposes. Number one is to get it off easy. Number two is you got to know what size of belt you're going to get and an accurate length. So with the belt stretched out and a tape measure in hand, go ahead and measure your belt. 28 inches. Now this belt is the wrong width. I know this belt is the wrong width. This is the wrong belt for this particular machine. This application takes, you can swing the motor out more, a 5/8 inch wide belt. So you're going to be, inside here you got that tension spring. I'm going to remove that spring. And then we have to get to this. This is the belt keeper. I need that out of the way while I am putting the new belt in place. Once the new belt is in place, then we'll go ahead and reattach this belt keeper. Now there's two other belt keepers in here on the motor. These are this pin, and the belt has to ride inside of those. Actually, I'm going to hold off on the belt because for my safety, I don't want this engine accidentally starting as if it can, because I'm going to be messing around in here. I need to inspect here because I don't know what the business is in here. I'm going to take a bungee and prop this open. Okay. I need to remove the shield to inspect the hammers and the blades. To do that, there's two pins that I need to remove. You got to remove this bolt or this nut right here. And this guard. And here's a pin. And then that slides right down. Then we're going to remove this other pin. So I'm going to work it all the way out of the way just so I can see what I'm doing in there. Now here's the business end of the deal. This is the hammers for the mulching, and there's blades. There's no blades. This thing doesn't have blades for chipping. I kind of knew that already for preparing to film this episode. I wanted to make sure I had everything that I needed. So I went ahead and went online and ordered a new set of blades. It takes two of these blades right here. These are big suckers, heavy duty. Of course, they came with bolts to bolt them on. So let's put this blade in. The blade has to be positioned where the bevel is facing in, because this is the cutting edge of it. On the side of this, there's a little groove, because this is where the blade goes. This is a little groove on the outside, and you need to place the rest this on that little groove and somehow hold it in with your finger while you're setting the bolts in place. And once you set it on that little groove down there, it sets right on the spot where it needs to be, so it's really easy to find your thread. And then tighten down. I got vice grips here to grab the wheel to keep it from moving so I can get a good torque down on those bolts. I'm sorry, I don't know what the torque specs are on this. I want to shoot some liquid ranch greaser in there on those pivot points. As always, every time I work on something, I run into some unexpected snarl. And this is catching on something, and I gotta see what it is. Aha! It's catching on this. What I'm encountering here is that there is a flange, kind of a collar, on the inside of this opening here where you feed the sticks for chipping. The blades apparently are just a little bit too thick, and it keeps hitting this. So I'm going to try to back, by putting a spacer in, back this assembly back just enough to clear that. So I had to take this off. There was just 3 bolts holding this assembly and the bearing on. And the back side, I can't get the other side off. Yeah, I can't get the back side off. We're just going to have to figure out how to do this with just making a spacer. And my goal is to put a spacer on the back side of these to bring the whole shaft this way, just enough. To achieve this is to use this as a template that came off the front and use the 2 cottage cheese container lids, the plastic, and then make a spacer. And using this as a template, I can make the spacer that way. So let's draw this out, get some scissors out, and cut out my spacers. I use the same scissors that I used for cutting the belt up. Let's put these back over there. And then use a leather punch, put it on its highest setting, and punch some holes in this, at least to get them started. Now I can take a little pair of scissors and trim out that hole a little bit bigger to accommodate the bigger bolts. Okay, that might do. So I'll trim up this other one, and just to be on the safe side here. Okay, the reason why I cut the slit in it is because I have to slide it down around that shaft and get it in place. And get the other one in place. Okay. Get all the holes aligned. Then loosely reassemble the front. And we'll do the same on this side. Okay, got the first bolt started. Got the second one in. And the third one. Now this is the side I want to tighten down first because I want to make sure the shaft is pulled this way just a little bit, enough for those blades to clear that flange. Let me make sure it spins and it doesn't jam. Yay! I successfully completed jerry rigging. Let's continue assembling this thing. Okay, let's tighten the front up and see if it stays its course. I hope. Okay, yay, success. Now I got to put this this keeper back on, and then we can go ahead and put everything back together. Put where's my little wrench? Oh, there it is. I'm using this. It takes an Allen, so I'm using this little thing and this wrench to tighten those things down. So let's put this back on, the keeper. Okay, replace this rear plate. Now, why I had this thing, I had to disassemble this thing. I actually found an easier way to get to the blades, to replace the blades, is remove this plate right here. And that exposes the blade right there, so you can put the blades in. You know, I'm figuring this thing out as I go. I just look and see what happens. I did see a couple of videos on social media to see if what I needed to do with that. So we got another, let's see, where's my wrench? Okay, we've got another bushing to put on. We have the front one. Nope, doesn't hit anymore. Yay! So we can put this feature back on. This is farming. This is homesteading. You just got to make do with what you got and figure it out as you go. Especially when you get free items like this. Let's give it a spin, see if it's hanging up. Oh, look how easily that spins. That's better. So I'm ready to put the front shield back on. I'm going to give this another spin. I'm so afraid that these bolts I'm putting in when I come in contact with it. I think we got plenty of clearance. Okay, we'll put the shield back in. Make sure this is cleaned out. And put this guard on to keep the pins in place so they don't fly out and you lose your shroud and it causes a catastrophic failure. Yay, now it's time to put the pulley on. Put our keeper in. Now, this pulley has two of those Allens, so we got to pay attention to that. We got two of them to put on. And an Allen that's more suitable. Eureka! That works out a lot better when you use that little jury rig. One more Allen. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this. Okay, it got overcast and cloudy and the rain's moved in. I had to go put a long sleeve shirt on, so let's go ahead and get the belt on. There's a certain way to do it. We got to put the pulley back in, make sure it's facing in. Okay, and the belt feeds right through here. And on that side of the pulley, feed it back through there. That belt has to be on that side of the pulley, and then you have the belt keeper that fastens on to right here into this little hole. It's really tight quarters in there, so just to take that bolt out the rest of the way and set the motor aside, because I need the clearance. And the belt keeper in. Tighten it down. Put my spring back on. Okay. Put your engine back on. Now, notice the two belt keepers on the engine. You gotta make sure those are on the outside of that belt. Let's put the one on first. I'm gonna put it on this side. Let's see, I have a short bolt for that side. I got it right here. Swing your engine open and make sure your belt sits on the inside of both of those belt keepers on the engine mount. Okay. Feed your belt back over this pulley here. Okay. And then engage, and that should tighten the belt, and the thing should run. Yes, it's tight. Great. I went down to Napa and bought a 4L27. That's what I did. So that's the belt that's on there. So now we got to put our shield back on and the rest of the bolts around the engine. We got a bolt down here. We have a bolt down here. And I have another bolt right here. And then we have this plate that goes right over there. Now we just okay, I got victory over this. We put new blades in it. I made an adjustment to the shaft so the blade's clear, and then also put a new carburetor, new filter, new fuel lines, new spark plug, and a new belt. Let's crank this on and see how it operates. Turn the fuel on, set the throttle, the choke. Wow, that thing moves. So I tried the chipper first, and it worked out great, because those are the types of branches I will be chipping up out in front. And then I did some bark, and it just, I got all that piled bark, and it makes some nice mulch for the garden beds. Beautiful, look at that stuff. So my very first chipper shredder, didn't know anything about them, had to download the manuals from online to figure out how to repair it. So we went through the whole thing, put new blades on it. Yeah, I said that already. It's functional, we tried it out, we got a decent belt on it. Now, when it quits raining, I got a lot of work to do. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen, in this Backyard Mechanics series on this Baker 612 with a 3.5 horsepower Tecumseh engine chipper shredder. Stay tuned to more videos. You can do that by subscribing and clicking that bell icon that alerts you to new videos as I do upload them. Give us a thumbs up, click that share button. Sharing my videos on your social media platforms helps out the channel a lot. Please remember, always be safe. Always be kind. I really hope this helps you guys who have a model similar to this. Yeah, that belt went on relatively easy, didn't it? Bye-bye.